Hey guys, it's COREROSS and 116 News. So we're getting to the end of Season 2 of Year 10, where a brand new ban type was brought in for ranked and unranked. So we're going to look at the data for how bans have changed, and it's very surprising how much they've actually changed with the new system. So first of all, a quick overview of the actual data we'll be looking at and explaining it, because there's a little bit of confusion with how it's listed. So first we'll be looking at these graphs here, which will have graphs for both console and PC, and they're going to be from the platinum and above skill range. And as you can see, this one here is listed as Year 10 Season 2. But actually, this data is for Season 1. The Year 10 Season 2 part is just when this graph is released, as it was put out at the launch of the new season to give us an understanding of how the previous season's bans were going. And then we'll be comparing them to the most recent balancing graphs that have been released, which are these. And these were released with the Year 10 Season 3 designer notes, and they are again ranked PC and console, platinum and above, but this time they actually say Year 10 Season 2.3. This means the data for these graphs was actually compiled when the mid-season patch would have been released if that patch existed. So this means we don't actually have a full data set for Season 2, as the data they've given us at the end of this season is actually only from part way through the season. But with that out of the way, we can now compare the data. And here we have the ban rate for the top 10 attackers on PC ranked. And this is with the old ban system that would happen at the very start of the ranked game, and overall it would ban less operators than the new system would. So of course we have some clear outliners here with Blackbeard and Dockerby, and not exactly surprising. These are operators that people find frustrating and they like to just ban them as a comfort ban. But that's where the data completely switches when we go over to the new ban system. So with this one, an operator is banned every single round, but you're only banning it for the enemy team, not yourself. So you can be quite flexible with who you are banning, and overall, more operators are banned during the game. And I'm shocked at the results here, with Ace actually being the top ban by quite a considerable margin, followed by then Blackbeard and Dockerby. And this is certainly not what I would have assumed the results were going to be, because we're only seeing data from partway through the season, so people are already appearing to make more tactical choices here, because getting rid of Ace is a pretty good tactical way to try and keep your reinforced walls intact. And we also see that Thermite is in 4th place as well. He wasn't even in the top 10 with the previous ban system. And then of course we still have Blackbeard and Dockerby. Now, one thing that might be skewing things here is that there is more bans overall, which might mean that the actual numbers for Blackbeard and Dockerby are actually closer to the previous graph, and this graph really might not be that good for representing what's going on with this new ban system, because you have something banning per round and you're only showing one individual graph. You might be losing a lot of the actual granular data here. And then let's look at the attackers on console. So in the old system, it was Blackbeard number 1, Jackal number 2, and Dockerby number 3. So actually very similar kind of results to the PC, but of course with Jackal thrown in there, showing you that console and PC do have a different way of playing. But switching over to the new systems graph, it is incredible to look at this one, with Ace at over 80%, Thermite number 2 at 27%, and then Ram at 25%, followed by the usual Dockerby and Blackbeard, who have dramatically dropped down. And my takeaway from this one really is that even though this graph might not be very good at representing the data for the new ban system, it clearly shows that there has been a significant change in how people are banning, and it is obviously towards the hard breachers. And the weird thing is, this looks like a far more tactical choice of operators than the PC side. And usually PC players will look down onto console players most of the time, but to be honest, this graph to me makes it look like more tactical choices are being made on console here. Now let's switch over to defense bans on PC. And this is with the old ban system, with Fenrir and Mira taking the top spots, followed by Clash. And then with the new ban system, we've got Mira shooting up, followed by Kaid. And again, the takeaway for me here is that these are pretty good tactical bans. And the crazy thing is that Fenrir has dropped off the top 10 entirely. Moving on to console now, with the old system for defenders, we have Capcan number 1, followed by Mira, then Fenrir, then Vigil, with most of them being comfort bans apart from maybe Mira. And then switching over to our new system, we have Mira, followed by Kaid, and then incredibly, Capcan has dropped down to 5%, which is quite a shock because he's been the most banned defender on console for many, many years now, as the TDM meta took over and people just didn't want to check doorways and such and just rush in. And And to see him drop down to 4% is just mental. So that leads us into the conclusion now, and for me there's a lot to take away from this. First of all, these graphs are no longer adequate. I think we're going to need graphs that may be split into what's being banned per round, because certainly with these graphs I might think that Mira is being banned in the first round, but maybe it's the case that you play your first round, you see a really good Mira setup and you go, oh, I'll ban Mira, and in the second round that's when she gets banned. But what is clear with this data is that the comfort bans I would have assumed the new system was going to bring in, like banning the top enemy fragger's characters. So maybe they play Ashe and they're eliminating you a lot. Just ban Ashe, right? But it doesn't appear that that is the case. It looks like the choices are being made tactically and very much around hard breach on both attack and defense. And especially for this data being only the first half of the season with the new ban system, it's incredible how the picks have changed dramatically. Because honestly, I would have expected things to be mostly the same with it slowly skew into a different kind of way, and then maybe in the next season we'd see dramatic changes, not straight away like this. Now, of course, for lower skilled lobbies, maybe it is the case that things have not really changed that much, and it's more of just your comfort ban, and maybe people indeed are just going, oh, that Ashe killed me, let's ban Ashe. But certainly in the higher skill rate in the new ban system, as far as I can tell, is working, and it's working well, which is a surprise. But I do need new graphs. These graphs are not going to work for this new system. It's going to have to be probably split up into each round so that I can see that a certain operator was banned in, say, the second round or the third round rather than maybe the first round, giving an idea of the reaction players are actually having during the game on what they're banning. But either way, the results here are amazing and surprising. And this is a very big maybe at this point with this data, but this might mean that the new system is significantly better than the old system. I'm also honestly very happy to see the hard breachers and counter hard breachers quite high in the bans here, because they are this integral part and the unique part of Rainbow Six Siege, which in the previous system you didn't really see them getting a look in, and I like the fact now that that aspect of Siege's gameplay is actually driving these bans in some way. And of course, it's not surprising to see Mira up there in the high bands as well, because she is someone who interacts in a unique way with those reinforced walls. And with this new system, I was really expecting people to just simply go after the high KD operators, and that was kind of going to be it. But to see what looks like tactical picks is pretty beautiful. And then of course, console's a big surprise here, because I'm a console player myself. I would never have guessed that RAM would push herself up into the top spot of the bans. So yeah, console has been a surprise here, and I'll be interested to see next season where these balance graphs end up, because right now this is still the transformative phase we're going through from the old system to the new. People are probably still figuring it out, and I'll be very interested to see with more data and more time how things play out. But anyway, guys, give me your opinions in the comments below on this, and if this is actually what you are seeing in game when you play ranked. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.